It was 35 years ago today. Chicago Tribune columnist Bernie Lincecum. He wrote a column. Now, this will just give you an idea of we think we know, but we don't know. He starts out his column by saying the Chicago Bulls send their regrets. They ask for forgiveness. Please understand, they really wanted to do better in the draft than the best college basketball player in America, but they couldn't. They got stuck with Michael Jordan of North Carolina, maybe the greatest natural basketball talent, inch for inch in this young decade. Nothing they could do. They want you to know that. They tried to avoid Jordan, tried hard, but nobody wanted to trade with them. Swap some big fossil of a center for the third pick in the draft. It was like they were under quarantine or something. So they were forced to do the intelligent thing on Tuesday. They had to take Jordan. Even though he's already famous, has had quality coaching, is not a social disgrace, and may likely become the next Julius Erving before the old one gets into the Hall of Fame. It was a hard choice. Well, they weren't sure what he was. They weren't sure where he was going to play. He's only 6'5". That was the label. He was actually 6'6". And, was he a big guard, small forward? Because back then you labeled your players. You were, hey, are you a 2 or are you a 3? You a power forward? We weren't even putting numbers on them, I don't think. It was you were a point guard, shooting guard, you were going to be a small forward, power forward, and you were going to be a big man. Michael Jordan changed all of that because he was positionless. You could put him wherever you wanted to. He could play anywhere, and he could guard anybody. And we get into these labels, and that's where it gets dangerous. When you start to label a player, and there's already labels with Zion Williamson. He's kind of a Charles Barkley. He could be a Blake Griffin. You start to go down this list of all the players that, the player comps. And it's dangerous because Zion Williamson is different. Larry Bird, different. Magic Johnson, different. Isaiah Thomas would probably come out now and they'd say, a little slight. How good is the jumper? Does he get along with team? I mean, we would be nitpicking here. And what I've said before, and this always happens with the NFL draft, teams talk themselves out of a player instead of talking themselves into a player. Like the Arizona Cardinals. I kept, warning people, you're talking yourself out of Arizona taking Kyler Murray instead of saying you should be talking yourself into taking Kyler Murray, which they did. If you have this talent, it's the same thing with Cam Newton. Yeah, I don't know. Can he run a pro style? They had a real simplistic game plan there. He looked over to the sidelines. Can he call his own play? Like all of this stuff. Instead of going, that guy at that size doing those things, wow, we haven't seen that. And then he becomes MVP, and then people go, yeah, Cam Newton's a great quarterback. Yes, but because some of these experts talk themselves out of somebody, or they talk themselves into somebody for the wrong reasons. Zion can't miss, right? R.J. Barrett was a better player coming out of high school. Did Zion get that much better than R.J. Barrett? Or did we get a chance to see Zion Williamson as opposed to just watching dunks on YouTube? Darius Garland thinks he's the best point guard in the draft. We didn't even know who Ja Morant was a year ago at this time. We didn't know who he was 6 months ago. We put it in our heads, and you talk yourself out of somebody. And somebody's going to do that tonight. I don't know. I don't know if this DeAndre Hunter from Virginia, can he shoot? And well, what else? Does he do positive things? It's always the negatives that show up. And fortunately for Zion, very few negatives. Now, there'll be, can he improve his ball handling? Of course. Can he improve his outside shot? Of course. But look at all the great things he does, and to build off that is wonderful. And R.J. Barrett, I'm not the biggest R.J. Barrett fan watching him on the floor. I love his personality. I love his moxie, and I think the Knicks are definitely going to take him. Ja Morant, I love that he attacks. And somebody might say, well, that slight of body, you can't be attacking all the time. Okay. Tell me the positives. And if the positives outweigh the negatives, then I like what I'm getting here. And that's what's going to happen tonight. Some will do it right, and some won't.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.